Fast forward to being in the rehearsal room with James, which was such a treat the first time, but we were finding our way not only into telling the story of the play, but also how on earth you actually sumo fight on stage. It wasn't a form that we had a model for. It's very, very high contact. It is in a high degree of undress. And so it was a huge learning experience for us. Certainly the first time, not only in like how we can play together.
And I think it was like right off the bat, we realized we speak the same language.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's been a really great collaboration and working off of each other this whole process.
I think we're both so excited about the work that we get to do together and the work that we get to do with the other people on the creative team, but with this ensemble of actors. I feel like I am constantly like overflowing with enthusiasm, and you are also right there with me.
There's a real sort of, I think, living dynamic to how our two works kind of interact.
We're working separately and we'll call each other over, like, hey, in this moment, can I borrow your brain? Like, what do we do here? Or I can't figure out how we get from here to here. Or is this impulse I'm having in alignment with the cultural reality of the story that we're telling? My influence is in like supporting the physicality and in constructing the story so that the beats are so clear and that this American audience is going to be with us, but that we are not Americanizing this story for anyone's benefit, right? Like, come into this world, come into the dohyo, come into this culture, because it's not just a sport.
Automatically, the fact that we're doing sumo on stage sort of takes away from, quote, authenticity.
Yeah.
But I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to tap into even something deeper, the essence that is recognizably true of what sumo is and the culture that surrounds it. And I think, you know, to that end, we're doing a lot of physical work to really try to get the actors, their physical vocabulary to be as close and representing what a real physicality would be.
It's a cultural storytelling around this very Japanese form. There's also cultural storytelling that's about masculinity and what masculinity looks like. There's storytelling around, there's a degree of like queerness to this piece, a degree of queerness. There's a lot of queerness to this piece, right? And like, how do we tell the story of the balance of like of masculinity and queerness and the way that both of those things relate to being powerful and strong? There's a lot of conversation in the piece and a lot of physical demonstration in the piece around strength and weakness and vulnerability and what is it to be vulnerable in all of those different lenses. What is it to be vulnerable, and is that its strength? And also, while we're doing all of this, they are at a level of dress that most American sports do not take place at. They're working at a very, very low level of dress, wearing, for most of the show, the mawashi, the traditional like belt that has a strap that covers the genital area and like comes up the backside. And that is what they are wearing for most of the show. So there's also this degree of physical vulnerability, being in their bodies on that stage, and then slamming into each other.
In many ways, it's, you know, what we're doing sort of even just simply on a physical level is something that the American theater really is not familiar with. But I think there's stereotypes about sumo that Americans have. And you're going to be seeing a play where these men are very comfortably nearly naked almost the entire show. You know, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity to sort of express that there are different norms that maybe we can sort of like have our preconceptions kind of blown open by.
There's a reality in sumo that people with different bodies fight differently, right? Like someone who is larger than their opponent might take a different tactic. Someone who has this strength over that strength is going to try to use X, Y, and Z to their advantage rather than A, B, and C. So yes, the cast comes in with a huge diversity of experience in physical theater, in sumo. We have one actor who had trained in sumo before starting this show, and he is our fight captain, and he is Earl Kim, and he is the best. Earl plays Shinta in the piece and was our fight captain at La Jolla and is our fight captain here now, and is just a huge asset to us as we're trying to stage all of these moments. And they're running it through these cultural filters that are so present in the room that it's all working in service of this bigger picture, of this bigger story. I think it's so important for everyone in that room to know from the outset that they are not only taking weight, but for safety, for storytelling, they have to share their weight as well. And if you are not, literally, if you are not giving your weight to your partner, they don't know where you are. And so we spent some time on that first day of movement, the second day of rehearsal. They'd known each other for like 24 hours, having them lean into each other and roll over top of each other and practice not only halfway giving your weight because your partner's halfway receiving your weight, but also just like backing up to be polite. The difference between that and making someone else move you.
It's been really cool because many actors have expressed that they've not gotten to do this kind of thing in the theater before, and I think they're really enjoying the fact that they can express themselves in this way. You know, it's a very special thing for them.
We get to build fights that are particular to the artists that are fighting them and the stories that we are trying to tell, right? This may be an actor who does not have as much physical theater experience or stage combat experience, or most of them any sumo experience, but we are able to create a fight that makes them look exactly as strong as they need to be story-wise in that moment. We're continuing to be able to look at how people are moving and look at how people's bodies are responding to choreography, and bodies are responding to the strain of the training and the soreness and the impact, and develop choreography that is really custom built for each of these typically pairings when we're building the matches.
In order to get to what Chelsea was just describing, we've also, from the get-go, we've told the actors that we're going to be asking you to do things that you probably are super unfamiliar with, and in order to get there, we have to do a lot of work. And so we've spent the first few weeks stretching, doing stretches that in some ways that probably the actors were unfamiliar with, to get the kind of lower body flexibility, and then also strength exercises. We've been working with the actors, sort of building stations and doing sort of a circuit training of different fundamental sumo. It's called Kihondosan in Japanese, but it's the basic movements of sumo, which is the Sumo Kyokai, the Sumo Association of Japan, has a manual of these are the basic movements that you need to know as a sumo wrestler, as a rikishi.
We're really building the fights on them. We're not coming in with choreographed fights and then placing them onto the people in the room. It's very collaborative.
The fights are integral to the story. So scenes are fights in many instances. And so the actor input is just every bit as important. And so we bring these things, and then the actors have these, responses, and they're like, what about this? What about, and so we're able to then go, yeah, that's great. How do we work this into the choreography? And so it's been very dynamic, but also I think organic in terms of the storytelling of the fight.
We're mitigating risk here, and part of that is having them take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not always a message that actors have accepted or internalized, right? That you get to be people too.
Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself in order to do this. And this show is a crash course. Crash. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. But it's a crash course in having to take care of yourself so you can do this thing, right? There is no toughing it out.
The work is very rigorous.
The work is really rigorous, but we're going to find a way for it to be rigorous within what is sustainable for you. It's a hard show with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a lot of really beautiful people to do it with.